Hi, this is Tim from UK Home Gym, your home for UK specific independent home gym tips and advice. And today, as I teased in the last video, if you're watching, which was about 3 indispensable home gym items that you can also take to commercial gyms, I'm going to talk about 3 indispensable items I think will help you sleep better. Now, why am I talking about sleep on a home gym themed channel? Well, I think that sleep is really, really, really important for everybody, basically, but particularly if you are the kind of person who has a home gym, because I think the kind of person who has a home gym tends to be quite motivated. They tend to do quite a lot of exercise, if you've gone to the trouble of building your own home gym, you're not someone who just goes to the gym and messes about, maybe goes to the gym for a couple of months every year and leaves it at that. I think that you're going to be the kind of person that uses the gym quite a lot. And that's why you've made that investment, and that's why you're probably the kind of person who really needs to prioritize sleep, because there is no point going in the gym and doing great things if you cannot then recover properly. And the best way, science proved, to recover properly is to sleep well. So you need to get a good amount of sleep. I'm not going to go into the details of how many hours or how many cycles or whatever of sleep that you need to get, but I can just say that from my own experience, and science seems to back it up, people who sleep better tend to get better results in the gym, and that's what we go to the gym for. That's what we use our home gyms for. So these are 3 super inexpensive and super generic, like the last video. If you watch that one, they're super generic. So I'm not really going to recommend any particular brand of any of these things that I'm going to talk about today. I'm just going to say that you can pick them up, as I said in the last video. You can pick them up for low cost, basically, on e-commerce platforms like Amazon, eBay, AliExpress, and so on. If you think any of these products are worth looking into, have a look on there, and I'm sure you'll find them. If you really want to know what particular brands I have, I can let you know. But really, I think there's quite a lot of different options that, as I said in the last video, are sort of made in the same factory or factories very near each other. Anyway, the first item I want to talk about, and this made a huge difference to me, so maybe it will be for you as well, is this white noise machine. Okay, I'm just going to play a little bit of the white noise. So it makes that kind of noise, basically. And you can adjust the volume. There are sort of some different versions of it. Plays different kind of sounds or whatever. What's good about this is it's lithium-ion battery, so you can recharge this. What I usually do is I have a little solar panel, and I just plug it into the solar panel, like a portable solar panel, and it usually charges, even on a cloudy day. That will charge up fully in a couple of hours, basically, or less, maybe half an hour, 45 minutes on a very sunny day. Or you can, if it's raining outside, you can just stick it into the mains or whatever. It won't take very long. It won't use up much electricity or whatever, and you will be able to play that, for 8 hours or whatever, all night. Or it has a timer. It can turn itself off, basically, if you need it to just fall asleep. Basically, I started using this a little bit after I'd been using like a humidifier and a fan and stuff like that in my room. And I didn't really get much benefit from the humidifier, but what I really liked about it is it made this sort of high-pitched sort of droning noise that just went on and on. And what I find great about this is the fact that I can then open the window and not be distracted by the sounds outside, because I quite like to have a cold room, sleep in a cold room, and I find that really, maybe you're different and you prefer the room to be warm, but for me, I like the room to be cold, and that really helps me get to sleep well. And I find that in winter, basically, I sleep a lot better than I do in summer. This allows me to be able to open the window and just drown out those noises from outside. Because even though I live in a quite quiet sort of part of the world and of the UK, basically, um, still, there's noises outside. Sometimes they're nice noises. You hear owls and stuff like that, and foxes and other animals, nocturnal animals, or maybe someone parking their car or whatever. It's not a terrible noise. It's not people walking around breaking glass or something like that. But anyway, the point is, I can then open the window, and the other thing is that I find that it's great. Something in my brain, and I'm not into this sort of hack your brain, hack your body, all of this kind of stuff. But something in my brain now associates that noise with going to sleep. So, the action of turning that machine on and then hearing that noise, my brain associates that with sleep. And the first thing I do when I get up is turn it off. And so that's the noise that we have for sleeping. I think that is, there is definitely benefit to that. As I said, there are like a million companies that seem to be making this, and they're not very expensive, these machines. This is probably the most expensive item on the list, but really you can probably find them for whatever price, not too expensive, maybe on sale somewhere or other. And it's such a great investment, really. Just that sound is really good. Maybe on if it's really hot and you've got like a fan on instead, you wouldn't need it. But I just find it a really good thing. Anyway, let's move to the next thing. So that, having quiet or something that drowns out noise or, replaces the sound of silence. I would love to be able to just sleep in utter silence. That would be great. But, where in the world would you need to be to enjoy that? The next thing I would say is that light. Light. I really think that it's very important to ensure that you are not exposed to too much light during the night, because I think that particularly in the UK, right? In summertime, it's like 3:30 in the morning sometimes, and you really can be woken up by that. And the sound of the birds outside, right? So this is where this comes in. Sometimes it drowns out a little bit of the bird song. But anyway, in terms of light, okay, what can you do? You can buy these blackout blinds, and you can do all of this, do all of that in your room. I find them quite problematic, the blackout blinds, because I like to sleep with the window open, as I said. And if I've got the blinds sort of being knocked around in the wind, that's more noise in the room. I don't really like that. What I find is more effective is actually just like an eye mask, and it's difficult to find the right size of eye mask, particularly if you're buying them online. But what I tend to do is I'll put the eye mask on, and then I'll put like a sort of very, very thin sort of buff type thing over the top of it, and that really sort of compacts it down. I'm not saying that you want to like have a lot of pressure squeezing on your eyes or anything, but I just want to make sure that there's no bits where the light can leak in. And I find that's fantastic. Your body really needs to just have absence of stimulation, and too much light around the house or around the room is not good. And I think that's pretty much intuitive as well. Really, we evolved to sort of wake up when it's light and to go to sleep when it's dark. So that is that is something that I think it's so inexpensive to get. And as I said, you can just, if it's not fitting really well, really, really thin sort of buff or something that's going to sort of attach it and stop little bits of light leaking in underneath or over the top is really helpful. As I said, goodness, there are hundreds of places, thousands of places maybe that will sell you something like this. The third item, I don't know if this is very specific to me, but it has certainly made a huge difference to the way that I sleep. I suffer from, I don't know if it's rhinitis or something like that. A doctor did at some stage say to me that it was rhinitis. What happens is in certain types of weather, particularly here in the UK where it's damp and the weather changes a lot. Basically, you get a lot of you can have 4 seasons in one day, right? sometimes I'll get that at night, that I'm sort of, one of my nostrils gets blocked, or sometimes both of them gets blocked, and that wakes me up. I've sort of trained myself to sleep through, to breathe through my nose, even in my sleep. I don't like breathing through my mouth at any stage, really. Even when working out in the gym, it's rare that I will breathe out in or out through the mouth. I try and make sure it goes through the nose. But as I said, the rhinitis, sometimes it does bother me, and sometimes it wakes me up. So in desperation, I sort of went around and looked around online to see if I could find things that would help me. And two things that I think have helped me a little bit. This helped me a little bit, is these sort of nose strips. And as I said, they're super generic. You can buy them everywhere. You just sort of stick them on your nose like that. And I remember football players used to wear those in the 90s. Robbie Fowler used to wear those in the 90s. Giving away my age there, maybe. But anyway, they do tend to open up your nasal passage a little bit, and I think they're quite a good tool. But this, for some reason, this weird little contraption, whatever it is like a little silicone thing that you sort of stick up your nose. Basically, it's not very pleasant when you put it up there initially. But what it does is it just makes sure that, or it reduces your nostrils' ability to sort of close itself up somehow. It just opens up that passageway a little bit, and I think that's really great. It's helped me just sort of not be woken up by those things. So you may not have that kind of problem. This may not be a thing for you, but I do think that sleep apnea, rhinitis, allergies, all of these things do bother a lot of people, and they can interrupt your sleep and bother you. So if maybe the bigger point would be this: if you do have that kind of problem, or you're aware of excess snoring or something like that bothering you when you're sleeping. Maybe sometimes you snore so loud you wake yourself up, or whatever, or that does sort of wake you up or bothers you at night. Look into these things, because I said they're super inexpensive, some of these things, and there are different ones. I've got quite a few. I've experimented with a few different versions of this, and I can maybe go into that in a separate video if needs be, and review each one of them. But anyway, I do think that these things, as I said, both these sort of plasters and this sort of reusable silicone thing, I recommend you sterilize that every day with hot water, by the way, boiling hot water. Yeah, but these things, as I said, they're super generic, they're super inexpensive. You can get them for tuppence halfpenny, really, on e-commerce platforms. So there we go. There are other things that you can use to improve your sleep, and there are also some free free things that you can do to improve your sleep quality. But I wanted to focus on these sort of generic products that are inexpensive, don't require you to spend a small fortune on just like the hope that they might work, basically. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about for today. Maybe you have your own recommendations that you'd like to share in the comments below. I'd love to hear those. Please let me know if you have any questions, and please do also check out our website. That's ukhomegym.com, and I'll see you next time on UK Home Gym.